How important is being part of a church?
Oh my gosh, so this is something I'm so
Not
ready and
even
excited
wait for me
to talk
to
about.
finish the
Yeah,
question.
no, because I think this is a real issue, and it's not. I know it's not just me because I think like my whole friendship group from uni went through the same thing, and I've seen a couple people on Insta say as well. So I'm like, what? This is a real thing. We need to find a way to kind of challenge this. I went off to uni. I wasn't actually going to church regularly at that time. Yeah, no, I wasn't. But when I got to uni, we found a church in my uni area, Nottingham. Me and my friends started going there. We really liked it. Like we really connected with the preacher there, the word there, the worship. Blah blah. Like, oh my gosh, yeah, this church, this is so us, whatever. But obviously, it was only going to be temporary because none of us were like staying in Nottingham full time after we graduated. So now that we had left Nottingham and we've had this like great church experience, everyone kind of came home feeling like, well, I already had kind of disconnected myself from my current church before I went to uni anyway. So for me, it was like, okay, I know I'm definitely finding a new church. But some people even had home churches, but after having that great experience with our uni church, they were just like, nah, like they want to find a new church where they could feel like they can grow spiritually as opposed to just seeing like family and friends and yeah, not really doing much. So then there's like you come back home now, you're like, oh, okay, I need to find a new church. But then you just feel like you start church hopping because you're just trying different places every other week. And then you're like, I don't know if I'm feeling this to have this connection. The worship's not that whatever, like the word's not touching me. But then you get tired of church hopping because you don't want to just be in a different church every Sunday of the whole month for April. So then you're like, oh, forget it. Let me just find the right church in my own time. But then that just makes you end up staying at home and not going to church at all, which I found is not good at all because you may be thinking like, I don't know, like, oh, it's not that serious. But slowly you kind of start feeling disconnected. Like, I think there's a reason why God wants us to be in church and have a community because you start making like decisions on your own, or you just start feeling disconnected from like the church in general or like Christianity because then it's just like, okay, you don't really have any Christian friends, maybe. I know for me, I have family, but not everyone's in that situation. So you don't really have many Christian friends you can turn to or speak about with things. And you just start to feel homeless as well. Even if you are still praying and reading the Bible, you don't feel like you have somewhere you can go that's like, oh, my church family, like, like you just feel a bit homeless because like, oh, like just me and my ones. So after I had noticed I've been feeling this way, and my friends as well, who had experienced the same thing. I was like, nah, we need to put a stop to this because I was like, okay, I get that we're all trying to find the church, like a similar church to what we had in Nottingham, but I feel like at some point now we are kind of romanticize that church to the point of now it's blocking us from getting into fellowship with where we are now because we're just like, oh, like always nitpicking at one little thing. And I was just like, do you know what? I think it's important for me to get to church because I feel like I'm feeling homeless. I'm feeling detached, and I don't feel like I'm not growing here even now by being in my bed just thinking, oh, I'm just gonna watch this and pray by myself. Like obviously prayer is always good, but yeah, it's not like not being in the church community was helping me grow either. So I was like, do you know what? Same way you be praying to help like yourself find a job. I said, if I'm just praying to help to find a church, isn't it? So what's the difference? You think God don't want you in a church? And I said, and I had to make the decision as well to stop being so picky about which one of my friends, Natasha also said as well. She's like, yeah, she realized that she can't just be like every little thing, well, this isn't right, this isn't right, this isn't right. Because at the end of the day, even we remember when we first went to that church in Nottingham anyway, the first day we initially didn't like it because we thought they were doing too much, like videos and that was bare like in your face. We're like, yeah, you lot need to chill. And then even after that, we learned to love it. So we're like, listen, nothing is gonna grab you at the first impression, but as long as the word is solid, like they're not preaching anything like from their own heart or whatever. And like, yeah, it aligns with the Bible, and like you feel yourself connecting with the people there. Like it's not like, oh, everyone's 80 years old and you're just the only 20-year-old. then that's a starting place. So I just said, you know what? Yeah, I'm just gonna pray about this. I'd be like, God, I'm gonna take this search for church seriously now and not just be kind of nitpicking or just like slow about it. But I need your help in direction of which church to go to, and then from there, I feel like I've been talking for long, so I kind of wrap this up. But but from there, you know, I was able to find a church that I can now call home. So yeah.
And how has that made an impact on you?
I think it helps bring everything back to God in times when you're just like, where, because I know everyone's like, okay, yeah, put God first and stuff, but sometimes you don't, even though you know that, you don't always do that with your actions, because it's like you say that, but then every day you might be doing, I don't know, something else, or you have to decide to do this and you haven't even thought about praying or asking God or reading the Bible. You haven't thought about actually God, even though you're like, oh yeah, put God first. So I think for me, it's helped to kind of put God back into my everyday, because just going to somewhere, you know, regularly on a Sunday, so I mean, realign your week, so you know. And then on a Wednesday, if you're thinking about Sunday, you're like, oh yeah, like, I don't know, it just helps me focus more, help me put everything else focus more on God, as opposed to where some days, some weeks I might be just winging it by myself, and other weeks I'm like, oh, I should pray, la di da. But having that regular, consistent community helps me refocus everything.
And last one, because this is a big one, because even on Twitter, a lot of people have been talking about church and finding church. Some people are giving up on church because they don't seem to find the right one. Others have had so much church hurt in the past that even the anxiety to start again has prevented them. So one thing I want to ask is, how has being part of a church helped you in the pandemic, during the season where everyone has lost hope, they're going through it, you know, people have lost friends, family, loved ones, and all that stuff. How has being part of the church in this season of your life helped?
In this season, I would definitely say it's helped by being a part of like a community and having people you can pray with and talk to regularly. Because if I wasn't a part of a church during this pandemic, it's like, other than the family in my house that I talk to, and my 3 friends who reply my texts and call my phone, that's really all who I would have spoken to for like a whole year. So, but being in church during the pandemic, even though we couldn't go in physically all the time, is like there was online groups on Zoom, time to come and pray, like learn about the word or watch movies or just little fun activities. But it's kept me feeling like I don't feel alone as some people would have felt during this pandemic, because I've had this community where I can reach out to and talk to. So yeah, I would say that's how the being in church has helped me in the pandemic.